This conference will now be recorded.
Arago, we'll wait for guys for a couple more minutes.
Yeah, okay. So Abdul, I have a query. In our organization, we have created WVD, okay, in Azure. So how it is working actually? What is the backend process? So it is working like horizon, or else it will be a different software layer which is running in Azure.
He didn't get it. What do you are asking about? What is that?
Sorry.
I didn't get your query. Could you come again?
No. See, thing is, we are in our environment, we are using horizon setup. Okay. Still now we are using horizon setup for end users. So currently we are implementing Azure WVD, okay, virtual desktop. So it will be like different software layer, or how it will works. That's what I'm asking. How the end users will connect to this particular WVD machines in Azure.
Okay, that's a software package, by the way, Raghu. So it's called Microsoft has this, this virtual computing server. So what you basically gonna do is that you're gonna interact with the system with your login. Okay. Once you logged in, all your data that is there that you store on your C drive will be pulled out as a user data and given to you. So this is something like normally if you look into any big organizations, this is a common setup. So
How
that's
the end users will connect to that? But see, I think
when you
hope
say,
you aware of this horizon setup, right? So we will create a desktop pool, and we will assign those users to this particular desktop pool, and they will, once the end user will log into that URL or IP address, then they will hit on that particular desktop pool and they will access desktop, right? So the
exactly.
same like in Azure also will be there, or it will be different. Like once we see in our environment also, some process they are accessing remote desktop. See, thing is the remote desktop in the sense
No,
once they click on
no,
that.
no. Don't misunderstand. Remote desktop is completely different protocol and different way of interaction. But this one, whatever you're telling me, so see, this is almost similar, okay, but not to be
Okay.
exact.
Okay. Yeah, and I understand that one, but what is the background? How it is like establishing the connection and how it is working. So that's the reason I'm asking.
How is establishing the connection? Okay, that's a good question. When you say establishing a connection, okay, let me ask you one simple question. Do you know multi-desktop model, multi-desktop single server
Yeah.
in
Yes.
the right? So when you say multi-desktop, what do you mean? Are we actually having a multiple servers? No, we would be having a single server.
Yeah, that
But
is a RDS, right?
remote desktops are, that's it again, different story. Yes, I can't really compare. I can't really say it's an RDS. See, RDS. Let me just think again. Can I say that RDS? See, the thing that I'm having issue with RDS is if I log in from my current system, okay, I will
Okay.
get a remote desktop connection. So in short, I'm working in a single system.
Yes.
What I'm trying to say is that you would be having a Microsoft machine, okay?
Okay.
I would be having a server. When you open this particular machine, okay, and when you try to log in your details, okay, it is gonna first validate your login details by using LDAP. Once confirmed, then it is gonna give you permission to work on your own desktop.
Yes.
It's not gonna computing resources of end desktop. The problem with RDS is I would be using end that is not what I'm trying to convey. So you're not going to use your end resources. You would be using resources of your hardware laptop that you have right now, but all activity will be tracked and maintained. It's like this is the model. This is, I think you might already know, but what how this actually works when you coming to your question. This is like a server client model only, but it is heavily dependent on LDAP. And the second heaviest most operation will happen is whenever you are logging out or whenever you are actually opening any server, everything will be tracked, or let's say the complete usage has to go through all the rule set that is set in your server. So the networking will change. So the networking doesn't directly go from your local laptops, let's say default route. It doesn't go like that. It will first go to your end system, that is your main, that is the server that let's say I'm the responsible one. Then it will definitely go to the responsible one's server, and then here I have internet port. So before that, I have some rules. It will validate the request will validate itself based on the rule set, and only then it will go through. So that's how the larger organizations actually track or maintain any kind of data leakages and other stuff. So if you just check, the same thing applies to your email as well. You would be sending a lot of emails. Of course, this is simplest case, but you would be sending a lot of emails. But whenever you send any email, it will be going through a lot of validation checks. If you are sending some kind of uploads, then it will be, first of all, it will be passed, will be validated by some other let's say higher security official, what exactly kind of this particular package is being attached and sending via email. If you are sending any kind of a code, it will be sending in a complete alert. So all these kind of chips. So the particular let's say filtering or validating rules have completely control over utilization of the employee emails. They enforce rules. Similar wise, this end server also can enforce rules on its users, but it is not going to utilize its CPU. It is the end server will utilize their own CPU, but the LDAP and everything will happen, and that is the architecture of such systems. Are you working with any of such system right now?
No, actually, this is the new project coming. The testing phase is going on. Still now, we didn't get um, any chance to work on that. In next few days, we will. Anyway, we are going to log into that one. So we are the support team for one of the Fasos is a client for us, and now only we are implementing WVD. So that is different team. The implementation will be done by different team. So we are support guys, and
So
we
which
are
team are you actually currently working?
currently working in VMware and Horizon.
Okay. See, I think obviously the implementation might be different, but let me just say, when you come to VMware, not exactly. Yeah, you will just create resources and implementation of that, and maybe you maintain a lab?
Yeah. Actually, we are only going to support that, right? Once the implementation completed, we are only going to support. So that time we will came to know what is the exact thing. So they will give training and everything. I mean,
So
training
this,
in the sense they will tell what is
that,
what in
yeah,
Monday.
yeah, yeah, that is good enough. Actually, they will see this is a very specific products. These are enterprise products, right? So obviously they have a lot of documentation. So if you just see the architectural documentation, you will get a clear understanding about how that is basically work. I mean how that is basically architect, and you will understand the whole flow. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
No problem. You're welcome. So okay, let me just open my slides a bit. Anybody working with Kubernetes? None. DevOps is actually becoming a lot like what do you call that? So many. I'm sorry. What did I do? Postgres. Why did I? Okay, that's fine. Okay, any doubts so far with respect to Azure? Anybody actually tried to create an account, maybe work a bit? First of all, who is not working with Azure account? I want those guys. Let me see. 6 people here. Raghu, do you have Azure? I believe you have, right? Guys, can you hear me, guys? I think I'm not on mute.
Yeah, we're having Azure.
Okay, so Raghu, where you actually practice a bit, Rohit?
Yeah, I practiced until you explained us, right? Like yesterday's a day before yesterday's class. I practiced until creating an IP. I was
Okay, somebody with no name. Who is this? Ah, okay, this must be Richa.
Yeah, Abdul.
Do you have any questions till now?
Yeah, no, I have started working with the Azure, and also I have tried to work with the PowerShell.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So yeah, tried to run some commands. So it's working good as of now.
Nice, good to hear. Okay, so just give me a second. I need. So simple. Before this, let's just remind what we are actually discussing. Okay. So can somebody tell me? Okay. How do you? So by default, if I create a network card, do we get any public IP? I created network ID. Will I get any public IP? So
Yeah, you can change.
do I get a public IP when I create a network interface?
You get a private one.
You get a private one. Okay, good. Okay, so okay. Tell me types of IP SKUs.
There are basically two, basic and standard.
Right. Difference.
So basic, I think basic supports static and dynamic allocation. And I think standard supports only static allocation.
Right. Then why do I need a basic? That's a good question.
I think standard, it can be assigned, it cannot be assigned to all resources. It just can, currently it only supports network interface, NICs, gateways.
Not really. Why do I need standard? I have basic, right?
Okay.
Why do I need standard? Anybody else? Thanks, Richa. Okay, simple answer. Availability. I hope you remember. High availability and reliability. Do we get high availability, reliability with the basic? Where is this one? Storage accounts, yes. What is this? Network IP addressing, yes. Okay, sorry. You see? Supports high availability functionality. This is the main thing. If you just see about these two, it provides you network security groups to whitelist and provides you high availability functionality. Okay, is that clear? Good. Today let's discuss a bit about network security group. I think we already discussed about security groups, right? Last class. What is a security group? Why do we need a security group? What kind of how do we control any kind of incoming or outgoing traffic at network level? So this is the main basic security group. If you're creating any kind of a subnet or any kind of network interface card which can be attached to any VM, then you need to must have a network security group for both your VMs and both your subnets. The more, the better. The more layers, the better. But one thing, of course, it actually adds you a lot of pain. It's a pain point, to be honest, to actually have several network security groups at VM level and also at a group level and also at a subnet level. But that's what actually saves you from any kind of disaster results. So yeah, that will get you, you will get it once you understand a bit of it. So here I'm actually adding a network security group. Now, let me just say what kind of a resource group I'm going to add. I'm going to add this to my resource group called as network demo. See, this is, let me just price Azure for a moment, because I really like the way it is categorized in basically Azure. But if you go and work with AWS, you don't have any kind of resource groups or nothing. It's just plainly every component is there and you just need to create everything by yourself. A bit of automation is there. So if you just understand the standard way of architecting, this actually helps you a lot to only focus on few standards. But if you go to AWS, then you have to think about a lot. So yeah, Azure gets a plus point for that. So if you just see network security group, I'm creating one. Network security group 1. Okay. Next, tags. Always get used to utilization of tags. What environment are you doing? So I think I have a tag already. Environment for what? Demo. Everything is for demo. That's it. Tag will help you in later case. I will show you how you can extract, and this is validated. I just created a network security group. Let's just wait a few moments. Yes, my Microsoft deployment. So whenever you create, it's called as deployment. So this deployment is currently in progress. Let's wait a few more minutes before it's done. Okay, this is done. Let's go to the resource. This is your network security group. As I already mentioned to you, every network security group will come with some default rule set. So if you just see the current rule set, okay, so it is the inbound. It has 3 rule set, which actually belongs to the Azure maintenance or infrastructure. So don't touch them. Let them like that. So now, as we discussed, what kind of a network security group we want to attach? Okay, so I don't want to block any kind of oh, this is not the one, this one. Yeah. Now I want to actually allow remote desktop. I want to allow, so let me just add a lot of things inside this particular inbound security rules. So you already know the priority takes the highest precedence, and let's add one. So what is the source? It can come from, because it's inbound, I'm okay, it can come from anywhere because my IP address can change. What is the source port range? I don't know. So it can come from any port, or do you want it to be triggered from only the source port should be 8080? It's your call. Okay, so let me just add, I want to allow. So if you just check, you can put not only just 80, you can put the whole range. It will accept, but I want to allow only one port. The lesser, the better. So what is the destination? Okay, what destination? Okay, before we do this, let's add this network security group to our, so do we have an instance? We have an instance. We don't have an instance. Let's create an instance. Okay. Oh, not this one. Sorry. Virtual machines. Let's create an instance. What kind of instance do we? Let's add an instance. Okay, I'm adding an instance. What is my resource group? I want to add an instance to my network demo. And then if you just see the instance details, okay, you have to name a virtual machine. So currently this is a demo machine. So VM demo. Okay, and this actually is actually located in US East. The availability option. Okay, I believe we discussed a bit about availability, right, in the beginning section. Do you remember what is the availability zone and what is the region? So do you want a redundancy? So when you say availability, that means if you set availability zone, then you can actually set number of availability sets that actually available for this particular resource. But currently, let's not complicate. Let's go with the simplest, because I don't want any kind of infrastructure redundancy now. I just want Ubuntu server, ready for perfect, and I have Azure Spot instance. No, what is a Spot instance, by the way? Any idea, guys? Okay, let me just give you a brief overview about types of instances. So we have a regular instance. Whatever I'm creating, it is called on-demand instance. That means that as per my demand, I can create my infrastructure. That is the basic, that is the basic advantage of using cloud infrastructure. But here, what exactly is on the spot instance is that if you go for a spot instance, the spot instance is something that somebody on the Azure already have, which is not in use, which will be sold for very less or cheap price point. The only difference between a spot instance and an on-demand instance is that you might almost get around 70% out for discount on your spot instance in comparison with your on-demand instance. But the problem is the spot instance can be terminated anytime. You have no control over it. If somebody bids a better price than you, he can take up this spot instance. That's why people don't use spot instance because it's a big problem if your server goes down. Okay, so if you want to learn more, just Google for spot instances. Now coming to the size, what is the size that I want to use? I want to use basic minimum size of 1 GB CPU and 100 GB memory. It actually costs me around 250 rupees per month. And is there any SSH public key that I'm going to use? Yes. So do you actually create an SSH public key? Yes. No. No, we don't really need to create SSH key to create a virtual machine. But Azure will create, okay, for us this SSH key, and it will allow us, okay, to use it in future. It will store this key, okay, this public key, and you can download it once it's get created, okay, or you can directly go with a password. Currently, how should we go? Should we go with a password? No, I don't really suggest you go with a password. SSH public key is the feature and the standard, so go with it. So what is the username? The username that actually wants login. So let's go with the default Azure user. And what is the public SSH source? That means if I didn't created it, I want to create a new one. And what is the key pair name? That means when you create any SSH key using SSH keygen, you will have two keys. One is a private key and the second is public key. So you need to give a name to both these two key pairs. So let's say I'll just name them VM demo key. That's it. Okay, now that is done. Now coming to the input port rules. So any rules do you apply? None. Public inbound rules. So currently it says that if you don't want any kind of inbound, it's none, or allow selected ports. So when I say none, then you have no inbound. Okay, remember. Now select the inbounds. I want to have 22. Okay, so this will allow me to get access to my system. Let's go to the second step, that is my disk. Coming to the disk, what kind of a disk I really want to have? Okay, so there are several types. One is a standard hardware drive. This is a magnetic disk. This is SSD disk, standard SSD, and the third one is premium SSD. What is a premium SSD? This is a tuned up hardware drive which will give us more read and write output in comparison with magnetic and standard, but you have to pay extra for that. So I don't really want to go with the SSD. Let me stick with it. SSD is better. So coming to the encryption type, what kind of encryption I want? Do I want this to be encrypted, or do I want the platform managed key or a customer managed key? So the problem is, if you are customer managed key, you have to maintain all the keys, okay, of encryption, decryption, and it's going to be hassle. So for now, let's go with a simple mode. But if you want very secure infrastructure, you have to use customer managed key. So let's go with this default. It's also enough security because it has very less opportunity to, I mean, it's very hard to crack Azure, okay, the vault to get these keys. So don't worry. So coming to the disk, you can add or configure additional disks, okay, for your machine with attached existing disks. So it will give an option to you to create extra addition to this disk. but I don't really want to add any more disk. But you can try if you just create a disk, and then again same questions: name of the disk, what kind of a source is it from, snapshot storage or empty, do you want it a premium or again change it. So I just don't want to add any disk, so I close it. So if you go to advanced, use manage disk. What is a managed disk? So this managed disk is for your best performance, reliability, scalability, and access control. So these are actually maintained at Azure data centers, so called as managed disks. Now let's go to network. Coming to networking, what is my network that I want to create this? I want to create in my small network. What is a subnet? Okay, the subnet I'm currently using. Already we have two subnets. One is sub1 and another is subnet 2. So I'm actually using the first subnet. And then what is a public IP? So there is only one public IP allocated to small network, which is VM demo IP. So I'm just adding that one. Okay. Okay. This is the new one, I believe. Where is my existing one? I think I can attach it later. So let's go with this for now. Now, what is a network security group? So do you have any network security group already? We don't have any network security group. Okay. And this is a basic security group. So when you go for advanced, then you have to configure the network security group. So coming to the advanced, let's go with advanced, no problem. So there is a security group called NSG1, and there is a resource group of, so when you say NSG1, it doesn't have the 22 port enabled. We just created, but we didn't edit the rule. So let's go with the basic. Let's go with the new network security group. Okay, this is the new network security group. We want some kind of a feature called accelerated networking. This is actually used for low latency purposes. Okay, so you basically, when you want really fast response, in such case you have to opt this option. But it always says that it also says that the selected VM size is not qualified to have it. If you take a bigger size, then only you will be able to have it. Now, coming to the load balancer. You can place this virtual machine inside the backfill of an existing load balancer, but we don't have any load balancer, so we don't really need it. And place the virtual machine behind an existing node because it's not valid. Coming to the management. So coming to the management, you have to configure and management your VM. What is the management? We say boot diagnostics. Do you want the diagnostics of your boot to be enabled? So it will be able to capture the serial console output and snapshot of your complete VM. So I have to make it on. Guest diagnostics. Get metrics for every minute, but I don't really need such detailed diagnostic of my VM because even that actually creates extra overhead. And because I have the log management letter enabled. So coming to the diagnostic storage account, where do you want to store this diagnostics? I just it is actually creating another new storage account with the name called network demo diagnostics 341. It's okay. I'm okay with this storage account. Coming to the identity, system assigned managed identity. No, we are not going to use any kind of system assigned managed identity. Okay, because we are just simply creating a small VM. That's it. Auto shutdown, no. Backup, yeah, this is up to you. Okay, but we can also enable later. Let's go to advanced. Any kind of extensions, post. This is where you can automate a bit. So if you want to install some packages, you can install the extension and write it, and you can write a shell script here. Okay, in the custom data, and that should be fine. Coming to the host and host group. See, these are dedicated hosts. Okay, when you say dedicated host, what do you mean? So you're not actually taking a part of machine, you're taking the whole hardware, a blade server. That is a dedicated host. Okay, so example, when you say blade server, it means you have a complete server for yourself. there won't be no more tenants. Normally, the same server can be utilized to rent multiple Azure accounts. But if we actually subscribe for this option, then you won't be having anybody else on your particular machine, but you have to pay for the whole machine service. Okay, so this is the main configuration related to that. We have something called proximity placement group. What is a proximity placement group? A proximity placement group actually clubs Azure resources together. So what do you mean by together? So imagine I have, let's say, a lot of components in let's say my particular application has around 10 to 11 components. All these components actually located in different places in your network. Even then, that can create a latency for overall application, because single request has to go through my 10 to 12 components in my example. If they are actually located in very far apart, then the amount of latency I might incur will be related to hardware and placing of these resources. So the best in such cases, what we do, we're going to create a placement group. A placement group actually creates all the required components or nodes or servers into a single set or a single data center, and it would be placed close together. So which actually helps you to have no hardware or no network related latency, because all the hardware is actually in the nearest locations or placed together or placed near to each other. Okay, so currently we don't need any kind of placements. Coming to the VM generations, so these generations actually increase as per time goes on. So currently we are in the second generation, so we are using the UEFI basic boot architecture. So I think this is all about the current state. Let's move on. So we have something called patch. Always use patch. So environment. This is a demo. Apply to all the resources of this particular VM. Where you want to. So now it's going to charge me some money. Okay, it's going to charge me per hour 30 cents. Okay. Now validation is passed. I can create a complete automation template. Okay, but don't worry. Let's create. I want to create a private key and download it. So when I click this, immediately a key will be downloaded. Treasure your key, because once you lose your key, you will lose access to your whole virtual machine. You have nothing to do other than deleting it. That would be terrible. Okay. Now the deployment is getting started. You see, one VM actually created how many? It has created an IP. It has created an IP which is a public. It has created a network security group. It has created what else? Disk. It has created a storage account. Yes, and still going on. Let's wait for a few minutes. So these are the main things that actually created by. These are the main things that will get created when you create a VM. So any doubts still here, guys? Can you create a VM today?
Yeah, no doubt, Subbu.
Yes, Abdul.
Then make sure
We're good.
create
Yeah.
okay, great guys. So please try to create a a VM today, okay, and try to access it from your local space. So let me show you how to access it. Before, okay, I can show you. Okay, the deployment is done. Let's go to now. Okay, now what is my username I gave while creating it? It's Azure user, right? So,
Great.
yeah, guys, somebody asking me a question? Okay, seems not the case. So, where is my download? It's in download. Okay. You see, I'm in my Azure VM. You want to know more? See, now I hope this is how to access a virtual machine in Azure space. Is that clear? Now, let's go and discuss with our security groups. That was our main topic. Yeah? We shouldn't divert. So let's look for security group. Can you tell me where is the security group in these options? Will there be a security group? Simple. It would be. Just say security. Okay. Click on secure. Okay. This is something. Working inside it, there will be security. Yes, here is the security group. Okay. Now, this is your network security group. You see, there is some kind of exclamation mark here on default LSSH. It says that hey, you have to check this out. Is this really required? So any kind of let's say hello everything will have this kind of a mark. So don't get alerted by it. Just accept it. So currently the highest this is of 1,000. That means it has high priority. So you can actually connect to your machine from anywhere. If you go to security group now, you just created an inbound role. Okay, so you want to edit it, you can edit it by just clicking on it. So this is your rule. Okay, now if you want to change it, you can change it, or you want to edit it, you can edit it. Okay, now what else we have? These are actually, yes, coming to the security groups. These are actually stateful security groups. That means if you allow a particular input, you will also allow the output. So you don't explicitly write here because you are actually allowing all the output. Okay, we are allowing all that one. So you see, I'm getting all the internet. Okay, because yeah, we also need to regarding the IP address. right? Now, I think this is what I wanted to show you. Just give me a second. Let me just go to security, open situation machine. The network. This is network interface card. Okay, so this is a subnet network interface card and the attached public IP and the gotten private IP. So these are actually, I think, let me just go to my resource group and show it to you. VM demo. Where is I have two network interface cards now, of which one is attached to my VM. So if I just open this VM interface card, then you will be able to check that it has already a public IP addressing that is already attached to this particular interface. This is actually done automatically by Azure while you create your VM. Okay, so you don't really need to attach every time. It's just I showed you example that okay, what is this network interface card and how do you handle that? Okay, and if you just go to IP configuration section, you will see this. Hey, this is there is a public IP already attached. Good. Now, what else we wanted to discuss? Yes, security group is done. Okay, VM, we created a sample, so we're going to discuss a lot of it regarding the images and how do you create an image and everything in tomorrow's class. For now, let me just go and take a lead on Azure networking. What is networking? Okay, so let me just see if I show it to you. This particular VM has a networking, and these are basic your network rules, network security rules. So if you want to open only this network security rules, we are here. Okay, now when you if you are talking about networking for the whole Azure as infrastructure, if you look, then there are some rules. Okay, you are actually allowing okay the 22nd port, port number 22. Now if you actually wanted to restrict some networking services across your subnet, we can do that by defining your own, or we call it user defined routes. So let me just see routes as well. So there are no route tables. Let me create one. This is one. Okay. Okay, we got a route tables. Now, if you see, these route tables are the way you can all the packets travel across your virtual network. Okay, so if you take my example, let me just take this one. Oh, what is it? Sorry. Yeah, if you take this, networking diagram. Okay, now this is a subnet. Subnet 1, subnet 2, subnet 3, and subnet 4. All these subnets can communicate by default. If they are created in a same virtual network, they can defaultly can connect or communicate with each other. Okay, but let me just say, you want to control the flow of information passing down to these networks. Okay, so you want to have a public network, that means internet accessibility to only one subnet, and the remaining 3 subnets you don't want to have any kind of internet accessibility. So how you gonna manage that? So you can manage it by utilizing internet routing tables. So all these network securities, network interface cards, they have to communicate with each other, and they have to follow a routing table as well. Okay, so currently we didn't have any routing table because these are default, and the network interface card is directly attached to a public IP address. That's why you're not actually communicating with any other subnet. In fact, the virtual machine which is actually created in the subnet 1 is directly able to pass down the traffic to public internet. But imagine you have you don't want to have such setup, but instead you want all the data servers, or let's say database servers, to be stored in subnet 4 or 3 or 2, which are private, which doesn't have internet. Okay, I mean no inbound traffic, but only outbound traffic. That means they pass through. They should pass through a particular internet gateway to access internet. Okay, to make any kind of a system updates. This will become your ideal setup in your real-time environment as well. In such case, how are you gonna handle that? To solve this, we have something called network routing, especially user-defined routes in routing table. So what is this basically user-defined routes? Okay, so if I just say, if I created a routing table here. Currently, it doesn't have any kind of routes. Now, let me just start and add routes. Okay, this route name is default route to internet. Okay, so this is basic CIDR notation that you wanted to add to this particular route. So I think I'm going a bit faster, but that is fine. So let's say I wanted to connect this to internet. Next hop mean what would be happen from here. So if a route got traffic, then what is the next hop it is gonna have? So I want a default route, right? So it will become 0.0.0. That means all the traffic which comes to this particular default traffic, it will actually go to internet. I just created it. You see, this is a routable one. It has a default route to internet. Okay, if we actually take this default route and let me go to this. Come on. Okay, here you find the routes. Okay, if you see, all are the names are all default, but because this is while creation of the VM, 0 0, 0, 0. It is also connected to internet. I don't really need to change it because it's already connected. So let me just change this. Okay, let me edit this. So what should I do? This is always effective routing. Network interface card. A route table in message of 0 or more, which is a I don't know, guys. It should be here, but it's not giving me that permission. I am not sure of trying to. These are security rules, and these are not drops. Wait a second. Maybe I should have dropped it. I couldn't find, but we can attach IP routes. But I think I'm not able to get one now. Okay, I will show. I will just look into why, because it should get us here normally. You see associate route table, it should give us the, we can associate a route table there. Well, let me check. Okay, and let's get together. Since tomorrow is Saturday for us, would it be fine if we actually schedule a class? Maybe, would it be fine if we actually have a class today evening again? Because we lost a class yesterday.
Sure.
Do I have the agreement with everyone?
Yes. Just let us know the time.
Sure. Let's directly let me just give you the timestamp right now. But let me just ask others as well. Amay and Rohit, you are fine with that?
Yeah, we are fine with that. Mahito is also fine with that.
Okay, Amaya. Amaya, still waiting for your response. Okay, I think he was not here. Somebody please pass down this message to Amaya then. Okay, so let's get catch together in Indian time. It would be around 8 o'clock. Will that be fine?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, fine.
Okay, great. Let's catch up today at 8 p.m. again. And we close down both VM segment and also today's routing segment. Okay, both things will be closed down today, and we can discuss more topics later on. Okay, chalo. Nice meeting you all. Thanks for taking the session, and let's catch up today evening. Bye bye.